My name is Damon Lercel. I'm an assistant professor here at the School of Aviation and Transportation Technology at Purdue University in West Lafayette, primarily focused on unmanned aerial systems. So drones have expanded tremendously in the last decade. To kind of put that in context, if you look at the number of manned aircraft that are registered in the United States right now, that includes everything from the farmer with his crop duster all the way up to American Airlines and a 777. There's about 250,000 registered aircraft. And looking at drones, we're close to 900,000 registered in the United States. And probably more importantly, of those 900,000, about 435,000 are registered for commercial use. Drones are important in what I would call areas in particular that are considered jobs that are dull, dangerous, or dirty. So when you think of dull, things that are repetitive, require a lot of attention to detail, where a human might lose track or become distracted. So a drone is good for those types of applications. And then when we talk about dirty, think about environmental events, where there could be like a hazardous waste spill or it could be a nuclear power event or something where it's dangerous for a human to go in, and so a drone could go in and assess the area to ensure it's safe before humans encroach. And then when you think about dangerous, so things about, like here in West Lafayette, just north of us, we have the wind turbine farms. So doing the inspections on the wind turbines, is dangerous. So there are companies actually using drones to inspect the wind turbines, looking for, damage, that type of thing. And also communication towers and also bridge inspections. When you think about a bridge inspection, it is dangerous. You have to have people over the side of the bridge. Sometimes you have to close a lane, so it causes inconvenience. So a drone can do that job a lot more efficiently and a lot more safer than maybe a human can. So drones are becoming more and more prevalent in industry, for example, agriculture. So, they're using the drones to survey the fields, identify the areas where there might be weeds, identify where there might be pests, and then using that to better focus their spray applications on the field. So that way they're not spraying the entire field. Okay, it reduces costs, reduces environmental impact as well. For another example, drones are being used in the construction industry. So drones are being used, to provide 3D modeling of the site, improve safety, and also improve progress tracking as well. Yeah, so as far as expansion of drones in the commercial sector, I think we're just starting to see that become prevalent. So we're seeing, pockets of that happening, but as the regulations mature, for example, right now it's difficult to operate a drone beyond visual line of sight because of the regulatory constraints. But once the regulation is passed and sets the standard for what's required to do that work, then you're going to see drones become more prevalent, especially in, package delivery and even autonomous flight with advanced air mobility, moving people from place to place as well. Yeah, a couple of areas where drones are being used that I wouldn't have expected are certainly things like window washing. I never would have thought drones would be used for that, but they are. And when you think about it, it would make, cleaning windows, especially on, high-rise buildings and things like that, much more safer. The other one is painting. Painting buildings, especially, high areas, I saw a video of a drone the other day painting a water tower. So those are some areas where I wouldn't have expected drones to be used. So I think it's important that the public, become aware and become, educated to some degree about drones, because they do offer a significant opportunity. Again, improving safety, but also, improving, the public good as well. And it's not a one-size-fits-all type of thing across, the different communities. So what might work in Los Angeles, may not work in Miami, Florida. What works in Miami, Florida might not work in Indianapolis. So each community might have, its specific needs and use cases and things that are acceptable to them. So it's important for the community to become involved, to understand, what the capabilities are, what the pros and cons are, to see what works for their community.